was very shocking to see the incident of the Twin Towers going down on the television, and it just, John and I just knew that we would be called to work somewhere for this disaster. When we received the call from our Red Cross chapter, we immediately went in, and there was a meeting for all the volunteers. We were sent home and told to pack and be ready to leave immediately. And the man in charge was Mr. Boyle. He designated the jobs for each person. So John and I were sent to the morgue in Somerset, Pennsylvania, the morgue was held in the armory. So John and my job was to set up a feeding station. Our feeding was for the state police and the morticians and the anthropologists and all the people who worked in the morgue or outside the morgue for security.
At the headquarters, we installed the computers, the phones, and we set up the satellite, because the Red Cross has its own satellite system to feed all the information back to the headquarters in Washington. Well, what I remember emotionally wise to begin with, how subdued everybody was, they would whisper, they wouldn't talk loud or anything, when they come out to be fed. And I would say maybe about the 10th day, 11th day, they would get a little louder and be able to have a good conversation. Since we were at the morgue, they had, after they dug the site and got all the body parts that they could find, they had a big refrigerator truck come to the morgue with all these body parts, and they built a ramp from the refrigerator truck down right into the temporary morgue and the entranceway. So you couldn't, it was like very reverently done. You couldn't see anything. And in the morgue, because they had the pathologists and all that digging there, what we didn't know is they ordered a lot of coffee. And the coffee grounds, the odor, they would cover up all the bad odor, burnt flesh and all that. Emotionally, when I went up to the crash site, you had to go through like 3 different checkpoints before you even got there. So we set up tents for the state police. They had 3 rings around the site, and they would monitor 24 hours a day. Few people that they said I don't know if they gave them a summons or not, but they did try to go through the rings and they got caught, okay? They wanted souvenirs. What a lot of people don't know is after everybody left, there was a windstorm that came down there, and then they found more parts that were up in the trees that fell down. And one of the teachers in Shanksville saw the plane come over the school, and she said when she saw it, I think she said it was like upside down. Then when it crashed, and then, sort of thinking that if I was in that plane, what the feelings would be like, in the last few moments. And so on. I said I couldn't visualize how terrible that would be.
Covering the Shanksville area, there were hundreds of people working, volunteers, Red Cross volunteers.
Some have been here almost 50 years for the Red Cross, And so they dedicate their life to it. And we need more people like that. We worked from, I think it was 6 o'clock in the morning till about 8:30 in the evening.
Usually after 3 weeks, if you've been there 3 weeks, you're ready to go home. But if you say you can stay longer, they will keep you if it's needed. Sometimes the job is shorter, and if it's really long, they will send someone in to replace you, and then you go home. Like I said, usually 3 weeks is the longest they want you to be there. At the end of our Shanksville experience, it's called processing out. And you have to go to headquarters, and they will, there's other things, like you have to turn in your phone and your car if you have a car, and make sure the ERV is inspected before it leaves, etc. But The main thing is you have to see a mental health worker, and they question you and make sure that you are not burdened or overly taxed from this experience. And if they feel that you need it, they will send you someplace if you need more help. And this happens at every job disaster that you go on. You have to be processed out and see a mental health worker.
Okay, after 9/11, they're driving around Somerset, even on the way home. You notice more American flags being flown and a lot of different signs, saying, pray for America, we're here to help. And it seemed like as time goes by, people lose that patriotism and don't show it as much as it. And yet we still have disasters all the time, and we still need the help.